Chapter 1085. Suddenly, Magoo raised his head and looked coldly at the door of the MRI room. Only then did he remember that Song Woo-yo had been in there for a long time. Why would it take so long for an ultrasound, CT scan, and so on? Magoo took 2 big steps forward and knocked on the tightly shut door. After knocking for a long time, a nurse opened the door. "Where is she?" Magoo stared at the nurse as if he wanted to eat her. The nurse originally wanted to scold him. She had just arrived at work when someone knocked on the door. It was so noisy. However, when she saw that it was Magoo and his extremely terrifying gaze, the nurse was so scared that she trembled all over. "Who is it?" The nurse was stunned. She did not know who Magoo was asking about. "Song Woo-yo. I just arrived at work. I didn't see anyone when I came in." Magoo obviously did not believe the nurse's words. He pushed the nurse away with one hand and rushed in with big strides. However, other than the medical staff who had just arrived at work, the 3 people who had brought Song Woo-yo for a checkup were not there. Even Song Woo-yo was not there, damn it. Magoo suddenly realized that he had been tricked. He kicked a table next to him so hard that everyone was so scared that they did not dare to make a sound. Magoo rushed out of the hospital. Uncle Fu followed closely behind him. "Send someone to seal Woo-yo's manor and bring her back to me." Magoo almost roared. They had just left the hospital. At this time, many patients who did not want to wait in line had already arrived. There were also medical staff who had come to work. People came and went at the entrance of the hospital. Hearing Magoo's roar, it attracted a lot of attention. The sinister aura on Magoo's body and his man-eating gaze made people shudder. They did not dare to go forward and only looked from afar. There was a small square next to the hospital with a big screen. At this time, the morning news was playing. The young and beautiful host's professional voice suddenly entered Magoo's ears. According to an insider, the mastermind behind the framing of the Gu clan group was President Mr. Magoo. In order to attack Gu Yenhao, Mr. Magoo even blew up the South River Bridge, sacrificing many innocent lives. Rumor has it that Gu Yenhao was washed away by the river and died. But last night, Gu Yenhao's men rescued him from Magoo's ranch. According to an insider, Gu Yenhao has been imprisoned by Mr. Magoo at the ranch. This small square was most crowded in the early morning. Especially in summer, there was no sun and it was very cool. Many people would buy breakfast and come over to eat. They would sit here and watch the morning news. This news shocked everyone. Magoo's roar also attracted their attention. They looked at the big screen and then at Magoo. Magoo's face became very gloomy. His eyes widened like copper bells. Uncle Fu, who was behind him, also changed his expression. He stared at the screen in disbelief. How could this be? The insider was afraid that he would be slandered, so he specially provided evidence. This is a recording of the conversation between Mr. Magoo and Mrs. Gu, Song Woo-yo. The camera changed. It was the image of a landline phone. The recording was clearly broadcasted with words. The meaning was clear. This was the conversation between Magoo and Song Woo-yo in the bar. Magoo admitted in front of Song Woo-yo that he had imprisoned Gu Yenhao, that he had blown up the South River Bridge, and that he had compensated the victims' families. Bastard! Magoo shouted. He ignored the shocked and surprised gazes of the crowd and left the hospital. He went straight to Woo-yo's manor. Woo-yo's manor. Song Woo-yo, who knew how to use a wheelchair, was pushed into the living room by Lu Jiming. In the living room, Maupassant and a few of his military brothers were guarding an injured person. That person was also in a wheelchair. Chapter 1086. Seeing that haggard, thin, and familiar face, Song Woo-yo seemed to shout hysterically, "Ah-ho!" Seeing her, Gu Yanhao suddenly stood up from his wheelchair, rushed forward, and knelt down on one knee. He hugged Song Wuyo and said in a choked voice, "Wuyo." Song Wuyo hugged him tightly and cried, "You're really back. You're really back." Ban Jianning's human satellite search was really useful. The idea that he and Maupassant came up with was also useful. They really saved him. "Yes, I'm back. I'm sorry to have made you worry and sad." Gu Yanhao, who had always been a man who didn't cry easily, had tears in his eyes. Song Wuyo also cried out the helplessness and grievances she had felt during this period of time. They hugged their heads in pain. The scene was very touching. Maupassant, Huang Ling, Ban Jianing, Su Jing, Lu Jiming, Su Jing, and the servants were all moved by this scene. The women, especially, were all crying. After they cried for a long time, Maupassant went forward and helped Gu Yanhao up. He said to Song Wuyo, "When we found young Master Gu, his chest was seriously injured. Song Wuyo, young Master Gu needs to be treated immediately. His chest was so hot that he didn't dare to look directly at it." Gu Yanhao didn't want Song Wuyo to feel distressed when she saw his wound, so he put on the coat that Maupassant gave him. Song Wuyo didn't know that his chest was seriously burned by Migu. When they hugged and cried, when Song Wuyo touched Gu Yanhao, the pain of his injury was unbearable. It was so painful that Gu Yanhao's forehead was covered in sweat. Hearing Maupassant say this, Song Wuyo immediately stopped crying. She suddenly wiped her tears and said to Maupassant, "Hurry up and take him to see his injuries." Before the operation, Maupassant had invited the doctor to the manor. Moreover, he was a doctor from the military hospital. He was one of his men. He led Gu Yanhao and the doctor into the room. Su Jing came forward and looked at Song Wuyo and said excitedly, "Miss, young Master Gu is back. Master Gu is really back." Song Wuyo felt like she was floating. She felt that it was unreal. She secretly pinched her leg. It hurt. She said excitedly, "Yes, Ah Ho is back. He's back. Migu's bungalow really has a mechanism." Ban Jianing walked over and squatted in front of Song Wuyo, looking at her. At this moment, Song Wuyo realized that Ban Jianing was acting like a real man. He had grown up, matured, and knew how to analyze things. "It was very difficult for us to find brother-in-law. Migu must have thought that such a thing would happen. Those people who take care of the sheep and horses are very skilled," Ban Jianing said. Song Wuyo asked worriedly, "Then did we have any casualties?" "Yes." When Song Wuyo heard this, she was a little sad. They had all sacrificed themselves to save Ah Ho. "Sister, no matter what, brother-in-law is back. We blew up Migu's bungalow and broke his mechanism to save brother-in-law. I even sent the recording to the central TV station. I think Migu already knows everything by now. Migu has a terrifying force behind him. During this period of time, you and Xiaobao shouldn't leave the manor. I'm worried that he will take revenge on you," Ban Jianing said. "Okay, I won't go out." Gu Yanhao was back. She wanted to accompany him. "How's your leg? Does it still hurt?" Ban Jianing asked. "My ankle is swollen. It won't heal so quickly," Song Wuyo said. "The car accident, serious injury, coma. It was all an act." The doctors, nurses, and the hospital director only arranged for people to cooperate with Song Wuyo after hearing the recording and Ban Jianing's plan. Chapter 1087. Ban Jianing thought that it would be difficult, but unexpectedly, the hospital was very cooperative. It seemed that Gu Yanhao had left a good impression on the people of City M. Or perhaps they felt that Migu had used his power to hurt and harm people and should step down. In any case, everything went smoothly. Gu Yanhao was back. Next, Gu Yanhao and Magoo would have a battle to fight. Magoo had not reached Wu Yu's villa when he was stopped halfway. The people who stopped him were not the leaders of the country or Gu Yanhao's men, but the public. His shout in the hospital that he wanted to arrest Song Wuyo was quickly posted on the internet. Someone even took a picture of Gu Yanhao being rescued from the ranch with serious injuries and uploaded it online. There was also a picture of him rushing into the MRI room to find Song Wuyo and kicking the table. This was also uploaded online. With the rapid development of the internet, the public saw everything in no time. Especially when they found out that he had used his power to produce weapons for Country L and even encouraged Country L to attack Country B. They were furious. Also, he had deliberately framed the Gu clan group to steal young Master Gu's wife. This was unbelievable. They were brothers and friends. How dare he steal someone else's wife? When the netizens found out that he was going to Wu Yu's villa to arrest Song Wuyo, the people nearby gathered and blocked the entire road to Wu Yu's villa. Magoo, who was in the car, saw this scene and suddenly thought of the time when they had created havoc in the Dragon Palace because of Song Wuyo. Magoo raised his eyebrows maliciously as he looked at the road in front and behind him. Suddenly, he curled his lips and laughed coldly. Very well. Song Wuyo, you lied to me and toyed with me. Very well. Magoo was deeply affected by that recording. He had always thought that Song Wuyo had forgotten about it because she was drunk. He did not expect her to record it and send it to the TV station. The CCTV station belonged to the country. Once this news was broadcasted, he would be impeached and could only step down. No one would tolerate a criminal president. Magoo's expression was cold. Song Wuyo had chosen Dongfang Xian. At this moment, Magoo was filled with hatred. He really hated this woman. However, there was more love. If he couldn't get her, he wouldn't be reconciled. The people who were blocking him all moved closer to him. They came menacingly, as if they wanted to bury Magoo alive. Traitor. Murderer. Beast. Demon. You don't deserve to be the president. Young Master Gu helped you become the king and fought against the flood with you. Mrs. Gu developed a prescription to fight against the heavenly thunder, but you claim that you developed it yourself. Hypocrite, liar. Today, on behalf of the entire country, I will drag you down. Capture him and hand him over to the military. The people who surrounded them pointed at Magoo and scolded him. They even threw stones at the car window. What had once happened to Qing Jianxin was now happening to him. What should we do, young master? Uncle Fu, who was sitting in the driver's seat, asked worriedly. Charge forward. Magoo said. No one could stop him from doing what he wanted to do. If you charge forward, you'll kill someone. So what? Magoo's eyes were filled with coldness. Uncle Fu hesitated and did not dare to start the car. Get out if you don't want to drive. Magoo shouted. Uncle Fu was shocked. He had no choice but to step on the accelerator and drive the car forward. The people who were blocking the car did not have time to dodge. Some were injured, flew, and some were run over, died. You hit someone. How dare you hit someone? The people behind caught up and smashed the car. Even if there were many people, the car with excellent performance could still charge forward like a cheetah when they stepped on the accelerator. Chapter 1088. In just a short while, the people who were blocking the car were either injured or killed on the spot. Magoo acted as if he did not see any of this. His car had excellent performance and was even bulletproof. How could their stones and iron rods break it? Looking at the people outside the car shouting and cursing at him, Magoo's expression was so cold that it could not get any colder. His gloomy expression made him look like a malicious spirit that had just walked out of hell. After sending so many people flying, Uncle Fu was a little scared. His heart went numb. He was intentionally sending people flying. He did not care if he was sentenced, but his young master could not. His young master was the president. If this continued, he would be held accountable. Uncle Fu's hands that were holding the steering wheel were trembling. He did not look good. He asked anxiously, "Young master, do you still want to continue?" Magoo asked, "Why not?" But someone died on the spot. Magoo was now the incarnation of the Grim Reaper. They asked for it. Uncle Fu was shocked. Magoo looked at the people outside in disdain. So what if they blocked the road? If he did not want to get out of the car, would they be able to catch him? His bulletproof car was not afraid of their stones and iron rods at all. The more they rushed forward, the more scared Uncle Fu was. His hands that were holding the steering wheel trembled even more. However, he could feel the chilling aura emanating from Magoo's body as he sat behind him. More and more sweat flowed from his forehead, flowing down his wrinkled face. "Step on the accelerator, go." Seeing that there was some obstruction in front, Magoo said. His voice carried the ruthlessness of the Grim Reaper. Uncle Fu's voice trembled. "Young master, I've stepped on all the way. Full speed ahead." Magoo did not believe him. "Full speed ahead is so slow. Uncle Fu, if you don't want to drive, drive for me." I'll drive. Uncle Fu did not step on all the way and accelerated at full speed. He was thinking for the young master, but after hearing what Magoo said, he had no choice but to step on the accelerator and speed up. If young master was the one driving the car, who knew what kind of consequences he would cause if he wasn't calm enough? The result of a car that was moving at full speed and had good performance was quite tragic. Some of the people blocking the road ahead didn't even have time to dodge and were sent flying. They formed a strange parabola in midair and then fell heavily to the ground. Every time he bumped into someone, Uncle Fu's heart would tremble. It was as if he could see those people staring at him with resentment and unwillingness. Uncle Fu was very scared. He tried to persuade Magoo, "Young master, let's stop. So what if we go to Wio Manor? I'm sure young Master Goo is already prepared." Magoo's eyes were malicious and carried a trace of hatred. "I want to see Song Wuyo with my own eyes. Is she still unconscious?" If she was unconscious, he could let go of the fact that Gu Yanhao was rescued. But if she was acting and deceiving him, he would be very sad. He had always believed in her and believed that she would not betray him. After risking countless lives, Uncle Fu finally broke through the encirclement and arrived at Wio Manor. The car broke through the main gate of the manor and barged in. The bodyguard aimed his gun at the car and began to shoot. The bullets hit the car, but there was no reaction. Gu Yanhao, whose wounds were treated by the doctor, walked out of the villa with the protection of the bodyguards. Lu Jiming pushed Song Wuyo, who was in a wheelchair, and followed behind Gu Yanhao. Looking at the car that barged in like a cheetah, Gu Yanhao's bodyguards protected Gu Yanhao and the rest behind them and stood in a row in front. Chapter 1089. They were all holding guns in their hands. If Magoo came forward and hurt Gu Yanhao, they would shoot at any time and turn Magoo into a hornet's nest. Unexpectedly, the car did not continue to hit them. It stopped 2 meters away from them. The car door opened and Magoo, who was wearing a white suit, got out of the car. The morning sun was especially bright. The bright sunlight shone on him, making him look like a melancholy prince. Seeing that Magoo did not have any weapons in his hands, the bodyguards made way for him. Gu Yanhao, Song Wuyo and the rest, who were protected by the bodyguards at the back, came forward. Magoo's gaze was not on Gu Yanhao, but on Song Wuyo. He saw that she was sitting in a wheelchair and the bandage on her head was gone. Her right leg, which was in a plaster cast, was also gone. She was in good spirits and did not look like someone who had just woken up from a coma. There was no scar on her forehead either. Magoo's gaze turned cold and he suddenly smiled bitterly. You lied to me. You actually lied to me. She used his trust and was playing with him. Song Woo-yo pursed her lips. Now, she did not know what to say to Magoo. She simply said, I'm a woman. I want to have a perfect and warm family. You imprisoned my husband. I can't be indifferent to you. This indifference is not because you like me, but because you used my trust in you to record our conversation step by step. If I don't do this, how can I save Aho and make my family happy and warm? Good. Magoo smiled bitterly. Very good. Magoo, let go of the resentment in your heart. Gu Yenhao did not want to see him sink. Magoo looked at Gu Yenhao coldly. Let go. I want you to let go of your love for Woo-yo. Can you let go? Incurable. Gu Yenhao felt that it was useless to say more. Magoo glanced at the situation around him and said indifferently, catch me. We're brothers. I don't want to catch you personally. Besides, I don't have the right to do so. I'm just a businessman, Gu Yenhao said. Since you've committed crimes, it's only natural that someone will arrest you. You caused many deaths and injuries on your way here. There's also the matter of the South River Bridge. Magoo, do you think you can escape? Ban Jianing looked at Magoo angrily. How could he not be angry when he tortured his brother-in-law like this? But recalling that he was Mu Axian's elder brother, Ban Jianing's feelings were incomparably complicated. The brotherly relationship between Magoo and Gu Yenhao had already been extinguished. It seemed that the matter between him and Mu Axian had also come to an end. When Magoo heard Ban Jianing's words, he shifted his gaze to Ban Jianing. Only then did he notice that Ban Jianing's aura had become stronger. No one dared to underestimate him. Mu Axian doesn't like you. She's really blind. Magoo smiled. When Ban Jianing heard this, his gaze deepened and he didn't say anything else. Why did you barge into Woo-yo Manor? Gu Yenhao looked at Magoo and asked. Magoo's gaze landed on Song Woo-yo. He said, I came to see Woo-yo. Song Woo-yo, Magoo looked at her. I came to see if you're awake and if you're still unconscious. Song Woo-yo looked deeply at Magoo. Magoo, I don't ask for your understanding. I did this because I wanted Ah-ho to come back. Magoo's expression was sad. I know that even if I've loved you for 1,000 years, I won't get a trace of your care. Song Woo-yo, Song Woo-yo. Why did you come here? If you hadn't come, you wouldn't have awakened the memories of my previous life. In this life, I wouldn't have lived in such pain. Chapter 1090. Song Woo-yo looked up and glanced at Gu Yenhao. I'm not here for you. I'm here for Ah-ho. I know. Magoo turned around. At this moment, sirens could be heard from afar. He walked to the driver's seat, opened the door, and said to Uncle Fu sternly, Get out of the car. Uncle Fu had a bad feeling. Young master, Magoo shouted, Get out of the car. Young master, don't do anything stupid. If you say any more nonsense, I'll shoot you. Uncle Fu trembled and didn't dare to say anything else. He could only get out of the car and let Magoo get in. Magoo got in the car and the door was slammed shut. The car started immediately and made a U-turn. Song Woo-yo asked Gu Yenhao, what is he going to do? Will he do anything stupid? Gu Yenhao said calmly, if he wants to do something stupid, we can't persuade him or stop him. Song Woo-yo sighed. I suddenly feel that he's very pitiful. Actually, he's Tang Weibo now. His thoughts were completely dominated by his previous life. No matter who he is, the only person I love is you. Love wasn't sympathy. One couldn't sympathize with someone just because they loved him pitifully. That way, one wouldn't be happy in life. Bang! Magoo's car had just left the manor when they heard a loud sound. Then, the sirens gradually stopped. Then, a fire and thick smoke rose in front of them. Young master. Uncle Fu heard the loud sound and his heart trembled. Instantly, tears flowed down his face. Looking at the fire in front, Song Wuyo and Gu Yanhao were also shocked. Magoo really, 3 months later. Daddy. Daddy. Xiao Bao, who could stand up by holding on to things, knew how to call Gu Yanhao daddy when he saw him. After 3 months of growth, Xiao Bao had become even more beautiful and adorable. She had inherited Song Wuyo's looks, and her face was shockingly beautiful. Her bright and spirited eyes were watery and full of life. She was indescribably beautiful. Gu Yanhao came downstairs and stood by the coffee table. She laughed excitedly. Her laughter was more pleasant than a silver bell. Gu Yanhao's heart melted when he heard her laughter. When Xiao Bao saw Gu Yanhao, his legs started to shake as if he was dancing. He looked very excited. Little baby. Gu Yanhao quickly walked over and carried Xiao Bao in his arms. He kissed and kissed Xiao Bao's tender cheeks. The more he kissed, the more he wanted to kiss Xiao Bao. He did not want to stop. Daddy. Daddy. Xiao Bao clenched his chubby little hands into fists and placed them on Gu Yanhao's body. He smiled very cutely and happily. When Gu Yanhao kissed him, he made gurgling sounds that spread throughout the living room. When the maids heard this laughter, they could not help but laugh. Sister Song came out of the dining room with Xiao Bao's porridge. When she saw Gu Yanhao carrying Xiao Bao, she smiled and said, "Xiao Bao called Daddy Daddy early in the morning. It seems like Xiao Bao loves Daddy more than Mommy." Gu Yanhao's face was full of benevolence. His eyes were gentle as he teased Xiao Bao. "Isn't that so? Xiao Bao loves Daddy more, right? Daddy." Xiao Bao looked at Gu Yanhao and called him Daddy with a smile. "Daddy will feed you porridge, okay?" Gu Yanhao sat down on the sofa with Xiao Bao in his arms. Sister Song sat beside him. He fed Xiao Bao spoonful by spoonful. Xiao Bao was very obedient. He ate mouthful by mouthful and even pulled Gu Yanhao's hair happily as if he was playing with a toy. From time to time, he pulled hard. Gu Yanhao deliberately pretended to be in pain and made painful sounds. Xiao Bao stared blankly for a moment, then he began to chuckle. Chapter 1091. Gu Yanhao pretended to be in pain, and she giggled again. Gu Yanhao pretended to be in pain. While playing around, Xiao Bao finished a bowl of porridge very quickly. Xiao Bao was quite obedient when it came to eating. He was fed a bowl of porridge every time. The supplementary food was some fruits and soups. Under Sister Song's care, Xiao Bao grew into a chubby, white, and tender child. He was extremely adorable. After Xiao Bao was full, Gu Yanhao handed Xiao Bao over to Sister Song. Sister Song put Xiao Bao in the children's stroller and smiled. "Xiao Bao, let's go out for a walk. Bask in the morning sun and breathe in the fresh air." Gu Yanhao entered the dining room and took Song Wuyo's breakfast upstairs to the bedroom. Song Wuyo was still sleeping. She was hugging a pillow and lying on her side. Her legs and arms that were exposed outside the blanket were as fair and tender as lotus roots. One could not help but want to touch them. Seeing such a beautiful scene, Gu Yanhao's lower abdomen could not help but tighten. He put the breakfast on the bedside table, came over, and patted her butt. "Wu Yu, get up. I don't want to. I'm so tired. Her whole body was sore. It was all this man's fault. Gu Yanhao leaned down and hugged her waist. He said ambiguously, "Do you want to eat sitting or lying down, okay?" Lying down. Okay, I'll feed you. Okay. Ah, Gu Yanhao, what are you doing? Don't you want to eat lying down? I'll feed you. I want to eat breakfast. Satisfy me first before you eat. Wu you don't know how charming you look when you wake up in the morning. Gu Yanhao rudely tore off Song Wuyo's pajamas. This man was getting more and more skillful in bed. Every time, he could make Song Wuyo feel hot all over, as if she was on fire. Every time, he could walk with her in the clouds. The bedroom was full of ambiguity. 2 hours later, Song Wuyo dragged her sore legs downstairs. Although it was already autumn, the weather in Country K did not feel like autumn at all. Song Wuyo was wearing a mid-sleeved long dress with waist-length hair. Gu Yanhao, that wolf, had left kiss marks all over her body. She didn't even dare to wear short-sleeved clothes. She had already eaten breakfast in the bedroom. She came downstairs to carry Little Treasure. But Little Treasure was asleep. She sat on the sofa. His legs were sore, and his bones felt like they were about to fall apart. Gu Yanhao came downstairs dressed neatly. He was in high spirits and had a satisfied smile on his face. Song Wuyo's cheeks were still rosy. It was the kind of rosy after an ambiguous moment, which was very charming. Song Wuyo looked at Gu Yanhao with resentment. Gu Yanhao smirked. Could it be that your husband hasn't satisfied you? Why are you looking at me like that? Now that your legs are shaking when you walk, how do you want me to look at you? Song Wuyo said angrily. As soon as she said that, the maids in the living room could not help but laugh ambiguously. Song Wuyo was embarrassed. She looked at Gu Yanhao with even more resentment. It's all your fault. Gu Yanhao walked over and rubbed her head. He smiled. Okay, if I didn't satisfy you just now, your husband will perform well tonight, okay? Gu Yanhao. Song Wuyo's face heated up when she heard that. She looked up and glared at him. Do you want everyone in the manor to laugh at me? Gu Yanhao said seriously, what's there to laugh about? It's human nature. So embarrassing. Gu Yanhao raised his eyebrows and smirked. Embarrassing? Not at all. Do you still want to eat something? After all, doing such an intense action would consume a lot of energy. I'm not eating, Song Wuyo said. No, let's go to the ranch. Chapter 1092. Song Wuyo looked up at him in surprise. Are you going to the ranch today? Gu Yanhao nodded. Yes, today is Migu's birthday. Song Wuyo pursed her lips. He must have forgotten his birthday. He forgot, but I didn't. I didn't expect you to be so loyal. You're so busy that you even remember your friend's birthday. Let's go. Gu Yanhao pulled Song Wuyo up. Are you bringing Xiaobao? No, let Sister Song bring him. I don't know if he can make it back tonight. Okay, then do you want to buy a gift? There's no need for that. Any gift is useless to Migu now. That's true. Then let's go and kill a lamb to eat, haha. You're always thinking about lamb. I like lamb skewers. 3 hours later, Gu Yanhao and his wife arrived at the ranch. Migu lay lazily on the sofa, reading a book about prenatal education. When Gu Yanhao and Song Wuyo came in, Qing Wanduo, whose stomach was slightly bulging, came out of the kitchen with fruits. Seeing them, Qing Wanduo was stunned for a moment, then he smiled faintly. You're here. 3 months ago, Magoo drove into a police car. He was seriously injured. The moment the police pulled him out of the car leaked oil and caught fire. After waking up, Magoo had changed. Other than the innate elegance on him, his personality had changed. He didn't remember Gu Yanhao, Song Wuyo, or Huang Ling and the others. He even forgot his sister, Muxin. Of course, the memory of the X dynasty was also gone. The doctor's answer was comprehensive amnesia. Comprehensive amnesia. No one had studied it deeply. Gu Yanhao and Song Wuyo felt that Magoo's amnesia might not be a bad thing for him. But it was very strange. He had forgotten everything, but he was very familiar with the ranch. She called Qing Wanduo Wuyo. Not only did she call Qing Wanduo Wuyo, but she also treated her very well. When Magoo was injured, Qing Wanduo went to the hospital to visit him. When he woke up and saw Qing Wanduo, he called out to her, "Wuyo, I want to drink water." When Qing Wanduo heard this, of course, he was very unhappy. Magoo glared at her. "What kind of wife are you? I want to drink water." He treated her as his wife. Qing Wanduo was shocked. "What did you just call me?" "Wuyo, my wife." Just like that, Qing Wanduo became Magoo's Wuyo, his wife. She also found out that she was pregnant 3 months ago. She had been pretending to be pregnant to deceive Magoo, hoping that he would marry her for the sake of the child. He didn't expect that she was really pregnant. On the day he woke up, Gu Yanhao, Song Wuyo, Huang Ling, and Mu Axian went to the hospital to visit him. However, he was at a loss and didn't recognize them. It was also because of his amnesia that Qing Wanduo was willing to be his substitute and was called Wuyo by him. It was also because Magoo called Qing Wanduo Wuyo that Gu Yanhao and Mu Axian didn't call Song Wuyo by her name in front of him. Gu Yanhao introduced Magoo, who had lost his memory, that they were good friends. He had lost his memory in a car accident. The crime he committed when he was president was supposed to be jailed. However, Magoo had lost his memory. In the eyes of the police, he didn't lose his memory. He had a mental problem. In addition, Gu Yanhao pleaded for mercy from many sides. In the end, Magoo didn't have to go to jail. He just handed over the presidency and became an ordinary person. For the past 3 months, he lived a very peaceful and happy life at the ranch. That was because he had Worryless by his side. Chapter 1093. Qing Wanduo put down the fruit. Magoo, who was lying on the sofa reading, also put down his book and got up when he sensed that someone had come in. Seeing them, he asked in confusion, "What are you doing at my house?" "It's your birthday today. We're here to congratulate you," Gu Yanhao said. Boring. Magoo didn't care and waved at Qing Wanduo. "Wuyo, come here." Qing Wanduo glanced at Song Wuyo, then walked over with a smile and sat beside Magoo. Magoo grabbed her wet hand and frowned unhappily. "Let Uncle Fu do these things. You're pregnant now. Don't always get your hands wet with cold water." Qing Wanduo knew that he was good to her because he treated her as Song Wuyo. But so what? She didn't care. At the very least, the way he held her hand and looked at her was real. Also, the baby in her stomach was real. Hearing Magoo's words and seeing that his eyes were full of love and gentleness when he looked at Qing Wanduo, Gu Yanhao and Song Wuyo looked at each other. "Today is your birthday. I want to cut fruit and make a cake for you personally. Muxin will come back for lunch." Qing Wanduo smiled and then looked at Gu Yanhao and Song Wuyo. "Your friend young Master Gu and his wife are also here. Magoo, what do you think we should eat for lunch? Let Uncle Fu kill the head sheep. We'll have a whole sheep meal," Magoo said as he gently rubbed Qing Wanduo's hand. "Okay. Ching Wanduo nodded. You're pregnant now. You're vomiting, so you can't eat lamb. Wuyo, whatever you want to eat, you must tell Uncle Fu. He gently touched Ching Wanduo's belly with his hand and said kindly, we can't starve our baby. Ching Wanduo smiled sweetly. No, I'll vomit, but I really want to eat fruit. I won't starve the baby. Come, eat some fruit. Magoo reached out and picked up the fruit to feed Ching Wanduo. This was a peeled apple. It was juicy and crispy. It was very fresh and delicious. Magoo looked at Ching Wanduo. Is it fresh? Ching Wanduo nodded and said with a smile, fresh. I'll get Uncle Fu to buy apples like this in the future. Okay, I still want to eat green grapes. Magoo picked up a bunch of green grapes from the fruit platter, plucked them one by one and fed them to Ching Wanduo. Ching Wanduo said with a smile, Magoo, I can eat by myself. Master Gu is watching us. Magoo glanced coldly at Gu Yanhao and his wife and said lightly, you've washed the fruits. If they want to eat it, they can eat it. If they don't want to eat it, then forget it. From the beginning to the end, Magoo only looked at Ching Wanduo and occasionally looked at Gu Yanhao. As for Song Wuyo, it could be said that he didn't care about her at all. What else do you like to eat? After feeding the grapes, Magoo looked gently at Ching Wanduo and asked. Ching Wanduo smiled. No, I can't eat anymore. I took it out for you to eat, but you ate so much for me. If my wife doesn't eat, how can I bear to eat? Magoo rubbed Ching Wanduo's hair lovingly. After Ching Wanduo got pregnant, she straightened her curly hair. Her long hair was as black as a waterfall. She was still so enchanting and charming. It was just that after she got pregnant, it added a feminine feeling of motherly love to her. Under Magoo's love, she was now exuding the scent of a happy woman. It was only after he lost his memory that Ching Wanduo realized how it felt to be doted on by the man he liked. Song Wuyo and Ching Wanduo walked slowly on the ranch. The wind blew their hair, and it danced wantonly. Chapter 1094. Song Wuyo lowered her eyes and glanced at Ching Wanduo's slightly bulging lower abdomen. She raised her eyes and looked at her face again. There was an unconcealable tenderness on her face. Song Wuyo was very familiar with this tenderness because she had once displayed such tenderness on her. This was a natural motherly love. A woman who had never been pregnant would not be able to express and experience this tenderness. Severe morning sickness means that the baby is growing very well. Usually, after 4 months, morning sickness will slowly subside. At that time, you will feel much better, Song Wuyo said. Ching Wanduo's face did not have much expression. Her bright eyes looked straight ahead. Hearing Song Wuyo's words, she smiled faintly. Morning sickness is not a problem for me. I can see that Magoo treats you very well. Song Wuyo smiled. Ching Wanduo curled her lips sarcastically. Who doesn't thank you? She treats me as you. Song Wuyo was stunned and realized that she had said something wrong. No matter who he treats you as, his kindness is not fake. I hope that he will continue to lose his memory. This is not bad. He will be a Wuyo's substitute for the rest of his life. Sometimes, the substitute is even stronger than the real one. In the end, the substitute will always be by your side, Song Wuyo said. She was like that. Huang Ling was like that. Ching Wanduo was like that. Ching Wanduo took a deep breath and a hint of absent-mindedness flashed across her eyes. I really don't know what position Magoo will take in the future after he recovers his memory. Use your feelings to fill his entire heart. He will naturally place you in his heart. Ching Wanduo smiled bitterly. No, you don't know how much he hates me. Song Wuyo smiled softly. No matter how much he hates you, you have become his woman. Actually, when I just married Gu Yanhao, he also hates me. Hearing this, Qing Wanduo's eyes flashed with interest. She turned her head and glanced at Song Wuyo. Then how did you make him see you as his life now? Love. Song Wuyo naturally wouldn't tell Qing Wanduo about her transmigration. She simply said, because of love, any man with a bit of conscience will be moved by love. I believe you can do it too. Qing Wanduo did not take Song Wuyo's words seriously. I'm satisfied with such a life. It was also very peaceful. I used to be an assassin and never knew what life was like. Qing Wanduo looked at the vast grassland and sighed with emotion. This is life. I don't ask for riches and honor. I only ask for peace and for my loved ones to be alive. When Song Wuyo heard this, she was slightly surprised. She did not expect that Qing Wanduo would have such a sentimental side. People who could say such words would not have bad hearts. They were all people who longed for love. Migu said that if I gave birth to a boy, he would be named Mu Tianling, and a girl would be named Mu Tianyue. Qing Wanduo gave Song Wuyo a rare sincere smile. What do you think of these two names? Tianling, Tianyue, not bad. Song Wuyo really liked these two names. The two of them walked half a circle on the grassland and then returned to the small bungalow. The previous bungalow was blown up, and this bungalow was completed a few days ago. Before this, Migu and Qing Wanduo lived in a tent. That feeling was very exciting. Although the space in the tent was small, when the two of them got in, they only had each other in their world. The small space was filled with each other's scent. Smelling it while sleeping, it was very peaceful. Chapter 1095. The bungalow was rebuilt. Other than the basement, the exterior and structure were similar to the previous one. When Song Wuyo and Qing Wanduo returned to the bungalow, the mutton hotpot was already ready. With the help of Mu Axian and Uncle Fu, the rich hotpot made people salivate. Qing Wanduo, a pregnant woman, could not help but want to start eating immediately when she smelled the aroma. Migu, who was wearing an apron, was busy at the table. When he saw Qing Wanduo and Song Wuyo come in, Migu waved at Qing Wanduo and said in a doting tone, "Come here." Qing Wanduo smiled and walked over. Migu. Migu took out a tissue and wiped the sweat off Qing Wanduo's forehead. He asked gently, "Didn't I tell you not to leave for so long? You're only back now." His reproachful tone was full of love. Song Wuyo saw this and felt gratified. Migu and Qing Wanduo lived a happy life like this. Migu was no longer the president and did not do business. However, his savings were enough for him, Qing Wanduo, and their children to live for several lifetimes. Moreover, Qing Wanduo also had savings. How could they not be happy when they did not have to worry about money in such a peaceful life? The entire grassland was used to raise sheep, horses, chickens, and ducks. The river and lake in the ranch were used to raise fish. Uncle Fu also used the grassland to grow all kinds of vegetables. Uncle Fu planted tomatoes, eggplants, and all kinds of melons. They ate well, lived well, and drank hummus. Song Wuyo also wanted such a life. Gu Yanhao walked over and gently hugged her shoulder. He smiled elegantly and said, "You can eat now." Song Wuyo looked at Migu and Qing Wanduo and smiled. Migu treats her very well. Isn't that what you wanted to see? Seeing them so happy, I really hope that Migu can be like them and never recover his memory. Don't overthink it. Perhaps after he regained his memory, he had completely fallen in love with Qing Wanduo. Let's go and eat. Migu helped Qing Wanduo to sit down, gave her a bowl and chopsticks, and asked softly, "Wuyo, what do you want to eat?" Ching Wanduo played the role of Wuyo very well. Sometimes, she even thought that she was Song Wuyo. "I want to eat vegetables and fish balls," Ching Wanduo said. After Magoo heard this, his lips curled up, and a satisfied smile appeared in his gentle eyes. "I'll boil it for you, but you only care about eating, Ching Wanduo smiled sweetly. "Okay." Magoo first gave Ching Wanduo some vegetable soup, then gave her some fish balls soup. The fish balls were made by Uncle Fu. They were fresh, clean, and did not have any ingredients that would affect one's health. Ching Wanduo liked to eat the fish balls made by Uncle Fu. They were delicious, with the fishy smell of fish, and extremely delicious. Song Wuyo and Gu Yanhao sat down opposite them and watched Magoo give Ching Wanduo soup. Song Wuyo said to Gu Yanhao, "Give me some soup too." Gu Yanhao curled his lips. "Okay, honey, what do you want to eat?" Song Wuyo smiled and said, "Fat sheep, mushrooms." Mu Axian brought out a pot of stewed mutton from the kitchen. After stewing the mutton, it was delicious. Seeing the husband and wife feeding each other like dogs, Mu Axian put down the mutton and pursed her lips. Sigh, it seemed that she had to find a man who truly loved her. Thinking of this, Ban Jianning's face appeared in Mu Axian's mind. Thinking of Ban Jianning, Mu Axian could not help but look at Song Wuyo. When Song Wuyo saw the stewed mutton on the table, she drooled and picked up her chopsticks. Ching Wanduo said to Magoo coquettishly, "Magoo, I want to eat stewed mutton." Chapter 1096. Magoo smiled and said, "Okay, I'll pick up all the meat for you. And the meat with the skin." "I like to chew the skin," Ching Wanduo said. "Okay." Magoo gave Ching Wanduo a piece of mutton with skin and no bones. He personally put it into Ching Wanduo's mouth and looked at her with a smile in his eyes. "Is it delicious?" "Yes, it's delicious." Ching Wanduo chewed and her lips were stained with oil. Magoo gently touched it with his thumb, and a touch of itchiness passed from his lips to his heart. Ching Wanduo showed a rare hint of shyness. Magoo smiled and said, "The corners of your mouth are full of oil." Song Wuyo and Gu Yanhao looked at each other and then smiled. Gu Yanhao and Magoo's communication was obviously less, but from Magoo's eyes, there was no trace of resentment or enmity. Song Wuyo's phone in Gu Yanhao's pocket rang. Gu Yanhao put down his chopsticks and took out the phone to Song Wuyo. When he handed it over, Gu Yanhao glanced at it and said, "Jianning." When Song Wuyo heard that it was Ban Jianning, she was pleasantly surprised and quickly answered. Mutton Heart Soup paused and looked up at Song Wuyo, listening to her on the phone with Ban Jianning. After hanging up the phone, Song Wuyo happily said to Gu Yanhao, "Jianning said that his media company has been established. He said that after a while, he will return to China and congratulate with us." When Gu Yanhao heard this, his eyes flickered. "My brother-in-law is getting more and more capable. However, as his sister, you should tell him to pay more attention to his health and not to work too hard to socialize. He has undergone surgery." "Okay, I don't need to say that. Jianning is a very obedient and sensible child," Song Wuyo said. "When the media company is established and becomes big, we can invest in movies and television." "It seems that movies and television are quite profitable," Gu Yanhao said. Mutton Heart lowered her head and listened quietly as she ate. She did not interrupt at all. The fool in the past had now become an elite businessman. He was really a good man. After Magoo stepped down, the whole world knew that the Gu clan's children's clothing was framed by Magoo. Moreover, the evidence of how Magoo framed the Gu clan and how he blew up Nanjiang Bridge was investigated by Gu. Because of this, Gu Yanhao also found justice and innocence for the Gu Corporation. 3 months ago, the clothes designed by Song Wuyo were sold by Secretary Zhang in the store and were highly loved by consumers. As soon as the clothes were launched, they were sold out. After that, Song Wuyo designed a few more sets. As there was a limited number of tailors, everyone fought to buy them. The clothes that Song Wuyo designed were named Xiling. The name of the shop was also named Xiling. When they registered, they also used the name Xiling. In the end, Song Wuyo decided to name the brand she designed as Xiling. Xiling was the name of Gu Yanhao and Song Wuyo's daughter, Xiaobao. The outside world did not know Xiaobao's real name. They only knew that she was called Xiaobao. Therefore, when the brand Xiling became famous in the business world, no one knew who the founders and designers of the brand were. Song Wuyo did not want to become a public figure, so she did not announce it. After clearing the Gu clan's name, the Gu clan's business returned to normal. The business picked up and the stock market reopened in advance. It rose to the upper limit for 22 days. The shareholders who did not sell the shares in the past woke up laughing every day. A month ago, the Gu clan's stock market reopened. It rose to the upper limit for 5 days. When the market reopened on Monday, it fell for 2 days. They all thought that the Gu clan was really finished and that even Gu Yanhao could not save them. Chapter 1097. The shareholders who held the shares of the company wanted to die. However, 3 days later, it rose for another 8 days. After 8 days, it fell for another 2 days. However, it only fell by 5 points in total. Just like that, it rose and fell. Finally, 20 days ago, the Gu clan stock price stabilized and continued to rise. For the past 22 days, it did not fall. When the market opened, it rose to the upper limit. The shareholders could finally have a good night's sleep after being anxious for so long. The stock price had been rising since the market opened. It was even higher than the original price. The senior management who had resigned and the designers who had jumped ship to Onmei Group wanted to return to the Gu clan. However, the Gu clan would not hire them. Just when everyone was curious about what kind of designers the Gu clan would hire, the brand Xiling, which had made a name for itself in just 2 months, announced that it wanted to enter the Gu clan and become a partner of the Gu clan. The designer's assistant was in charge of all the activities that the brand needed to do. Therefore, everyone was very curious about the designer of Xiling and wanted to see the real face of this mysterious person. However, with the help of Gu Yanhao, no one could dig up any information about Xiling that Song Wuyo did not want to reveal. 3 months later, Xiling became even more popular. The sales volume in the country alone was shocking. As for overseas sales, Song Wuyo did not care about it. Gu Yanhao was really good at business. Everyone thought that the Gu clan was going to be finished. However, after he came back, it became so prosperous. The Gu clan returned to its peak position and easily surpassed Onmei Group. Gu Yanhao promoted Secretary Zhang to the position of vice president and Lu Jiming to the position of manager. Su Jing became Secretary Zhang's secretary. Gu Yanhao used half a month to train Secretary Zhang to become the vice president. He wanted her and Lu Jiming to be independent when he was not around. Secretary Zhang did not disappoint him. She studied hard and followed him loyally. Finally, she was able to be independent and become a strong woman. After Megu stepped down, the entire nation elected Gu Yanhao as president. Gu Yanhao considered for a long time before recommending Ban Jianing. Moreover, everyone knew that Ban Jianing was Ban Dechang's son. If he recommended him to run for president, everyone would agree. But Ban Jianing was unwilling, and Gu Yanhao did not force him. He could only do it himself and fulfill the wishes of the entire nation. Of course, he had his own selfish motives. After Magoo became the president, he used his power to do some things that he shouldn't have done. He even used his power to separate them. Gu Yanhao had thought about it for a long time before he decided to make him the president. Only by becoming the president could he better protect K country, protect his wife and children, and protect his home. Gu Yanhao's inauguration ceremony was very grand. The Dragon Palace was filled with loud cheers. Gu Yanhao and Song Wuyo, as well as the streets of the city center, vowed to the world that he was responsible for K Nation. Looking over, everything seemed to have been settled. The Gu clan group was doing very well. Those who had not left the Gu clan before, like Secretary Zhang, were promoted. Not only were their positions promoted, but other than Secretary Zhang, everyone got 5% of the group's shares. Don't underestimate this 5%. When the dividends were distributed, the money was enough to buy a few villas at once. Moreover, their CEO was now wholeheartedly handling the nation's affairs. He was their Mr. President, and they worked very hard for him. Chapter 1098. Even Huang Ling, who didn't know anything, was clamoring to be Song Wuyo's assistant and learn from Song Wuyo about designing clothes. She was so eager to learn, so Song Wuyo was naturally happy. Moreover, Maupassant had been in L country for the past few months. It was said that Li Zhongjin was furious because Maupassant helped Gu Yanhao and wanted to take back Maupassant's military power and territory. Maupassant would return the territory to Li Zhongjin, but Maupassant refused the military power. It was said that Li Zhongjin was very angry. As for what Maupassant was busy with in L country, Maupassant hid it from Huang Ling. Huang Ling knew that this was the military of L country. It was confidential, so she didn't ask too much. He swore to her that when he wasn't busy, he would come to M City and be with her. Huang Ling was reasonable and knew that everyone was busy. Gu Yanhao was busy with the Gu clan group and the inauguration of the president. Maupassant was returning to the country and explaining to Li Zhongjin that he still had something to do in the army. Therefore, she never made things difficult for anyone, except for clamoring to be Song Wuyo's assistant. Song Wuyo listened to her and patiently taught her how to design. Huang Ling wasn't stupid. After all, her soul came from Mrs. Jier and Ban Dekhang, so her IQ wasn't low. It was just that the environment she grew up in was not good, so she never knew what she wanted to do or what her dreams were. Now that she had a lover of her own, she focused on learning knowledge. It could be said that she learned it very quickly. The fashionable winter dress she tried to design was already on the market. Although it wasn't very cold yet, it was sold out in the shops. Although it was branded with the Xiling brand, Huang Ling was very happy. She even proudly said in front of Song Wuyo that Xiling belonged to her. Who asked it to have the same word as her name. The two women who had once shared a body and soul got along well with each other, whether it was in life or work. Every time she got home from work, Huang Ling would complain to Lu Fengfeng that she couldn't live without Song Wuyo. Lu Fengfeng teased, "Do you love Wuyo or Maupassant?" Huang Ling, I find it strange too. I love Maupassant, but I don't feel anything about being in a foreign relationship. But when I think about going to Country L and not being able to see Wuyo and Xiaobao every day, I feel like I will die. Lu Fengfeng didn't take her words to heart. She only thought that her daughter had a deep relationship with Song Wuyo. After the hustle and bustle, everyone's life seemed to have stabilized. Gu Yanhao was simply a god. After he became the president, everything in K country went smoothly, unlike when Magoo took office. There were floods and lightning epidemics. When Gu Yanhao took office, it happened to be autumn. The agriculture industry had a great harvest and all the products were selling well. The investors were also doing well, which made the people feel at ease. Song Wuyo was naturally happy that her husband was capable. Moreover, she designed a set of winter clothes that she was very satisfied with just looking at the design drafts. Song Wuyo took the design drafts and handed them to Huang Ling. Huang Ling, learn from them. Trust me, when it comes to our shop, it will definitely be sold out. Huang Ling took the design drafts and said with a smile, we have to split the profits equally. Song Wuyo smiled and said, we can't forget about you. After work, I have to go home to my husband and carry the children. Huang Ling waved her hand and said, go on, go on. I also want to go home to drink the soup my mother made for me. Song Wuyo came over and hugged Huang Ling, are you happy with your mother? Huang Ling pushed Song Wuyo away. Don't hug me, it's mushy. Chapter 1099. Huang Ling pushed Song Wuyo away. Don't hug me. It's mushy. Although she said that, her eyes were smiling. She didn't know how happy she felt. It's okay to hug Maupassant, but it's mushy to hug me. Song Wuyo picked up her bag. How can you compare to Maupassant? Huang Ling nodded arrogantly. I love Maupassant, but I don't love you. I don't love you either. Go back and drink your mother's soup. Then, video call Maupassant. Huang Ling smirked proudly. She looked like she was asking for a beating. Of course. We video call every day unless he's really, really busy. Next time he comes to M City, take him down. I think he's the one who wants to take me down. The result will be the same. The two of them chatted and laughed as they walked out of the Gu Clan building. A private luxury car was parked in front of the Gu Clan building. It was very eye-catching. Huang Ling pushed Song Wuyo towards the car. Howzy, the president is here to pick you up. Go quickly. Song Wuyo jogged towards the car. After watching Song Wuyo get into the car, Huang Ling went to get her own car. Huang Ling returned to the neighborhood. She parked the car and got out with her bag. As soon as she got out of the car, she received a call from Lu Fengfeng. Lu Fengfeng asked her if she had gotten off work and told her that she was playing cards at a friend's house. Huang Ling knew where this friend lived. Huang Ling said that she wanted to go there and go home with Lu Fengfeng. Lu Fengfeng's friend lived in Unit 1, Block B, which was a few buildings away from Huang Ling's building. Huang Ling walked towards Unit 1, Block B. Ouch, ouch. Huang Ling seemed to hear something. She suddenly stopped in her tracks and looked in the direction of the sound. On the grass ahead, a woman was sitting on the ground. She was hugging her feet and making sounds of pain. Someone was injured. Huang Ling quickly walked over. When she got closer, she found that the person sitting on the grass was a foreign woman. Brown eyes, brown hair, this woman seemed to have a good temperament. The dark purple cheongsam on her body showed her graceful and noble character. It turned out that the cheongsam worn by foreigners actually looked so good. Huang Ling squatted down and looked at the woman with concern. She asked in broken English, "Auntie, you're injured?" The woman was wearing heavy makeup. It was a very exaggerated makeup, but it did not affect her beautiful facial features and applied beauty. The woman looked to be in her 40s or 50s. She gave Huang Ling the impression that she was a lady from a rich family. The woman nodded and said in Korean, "I sprained my ankle. It hurts." When Huang Ling heard this, she was pleasantly surprised. "You can speak K-Nation's language?" The woman nodded. "Yes, my husband speaks Korean." When Huang Ling heard this, she realized that she had married into K-Nation. Huang Ling asked politely, "Shall I help you up?" The woman nodded. "Okay." Huang Ling helped the woman up and asked, "Where do you live? Shall I take you home? Otherwise, I'll send you to my house. I have medicinal wine at home. I can help you massage it. Huang Ling lowered her head and glanced at the woman's sprained ankle. She said, "It's red. Fortunately, it's not swollen. You'll get better soon after you massage it with medicinal wine." The woman said, "Then let's go to your house." "I don't have any medicinal wine at home." Huang Ling smiled. "Okay." Then, she picked up the woman's high heels and bag and helped the woman to walk to the building where she lived. It was a little strenuous and inconvenient to walk while holding the woman's shoes. Huang Ling handed the shoes to the woman and said with a smile, "Auntie, let me carry you." Chapter 1100. When the woman heard this, she looked at Huang Ling in surprise. "You're carrying me?" Huang Ling smiled and said, "Yes." With that, she came in front of the woman and bent down. The woman looked at her back, thought for a moment, smiled, and went up. The woman wasn't heavy, but Huang Ling's body wasn't the strong kind either. Carrying a person on her back was fine at first, but after a few steps, she started to pant. But she gritted her teeth and persevered. She couldn't take a break after just a few steps, right? This was very embarrassing, hee. The woman seemed to have sensed Huang Ling's panting. She said, "Little girl, put me down. I'll go." "No, Auntie. It's not a small matter to sprain your ankle. What if you accidentally sprain it again? You're tired carrying me like this. How far is your home?" "Soon, Auntie, don't talk to me. I have to carry you with all my strength." When the woman heard this, she smiled and asked, "Am I heavy?" Huang Ling replied honestly, "A little. I didn't feel it at first, but now I feel very heavy." "Silly girl, that's because you're tired." Finally, Huang Ling returned to her home with the woman on her back. Helping the woman sit on the sofa, Huang Ling said, "Auntie, Brenda, call me Brenda." Brenda brushed her hair and smiled. "I like it when you call me by my name." After Huang Ling heard this, she thought that foreigners didn't like to be called auntie because it would make her look very old. Looking at the elegant and noble woman, she was from a rich family, so she naturally didn't like to be called auntie. Huang Ling changed her words. "Brenda, do you want tea or a drink?" "Bugade, tea." "Okay." Huang Ling made tea for Brenda. Brenda took this time to observe the living room. It was neatly placed and clean. It was obvious that she was a girl who loved cleanliness and knew how to manage the house. Huang Ling made tea for Brenda and placed it on the coffee table. "Brenda, drink slowly. I'll go get the medicinal wine." Brenda smiled at Huang Ling, "Okay." Her smile was really beautiful. Huang Ling was in a trance for a moment. She turned around and went to get the medicinal wine. Brenda's gaze followed Huang Ling. After Huang Ling brought the medicinal wine over, she squatted down and personally rubbed Brenda's sprained ankle. Brenda refused. "Miss, I'll do it. My feet have some athlete's foot." Huang Ling didn't mind. She raised her head and smiled at Brenda. "Let me do it. I don't smell athlete's foot. I only smell medicinal wine." Brenda's eyes flickered. "Your smile is really comfortable to look at." Huang Ling smiled and lowered her head to focus on rubbing Brenda's feet. Brenda looked at her and asked, "Miss, what's your name?" "Huang Ling, are you married?" Huang Ling thought for a moment. "No." "Do you have a boyfriend?" "Got it." Huang Ling smiled. "Is this house yours or your boyfriend's?" "It's mine. My boyfriend isn't in M City." "Oh, a long-distance relationship." Huang Ling smiled as a tacit admission. It wasn't a long-distance relationship, but a foreign country. Alright, get up and walk. See if it's still as painful as before. Huang Ling stood up. Brenda smiled and said, Okay, I'll try. Brenda stood up and walked back and forth twice. She smiled in surprise and said, It's not as painful as before. I can walk. Huang Ling smiled and said, Fortunately, it's not swollen. If it was swollen, it would be difficult. Brenda sat back down on the sofa, looked around the living room, and asked with a smile, Don't you feel lonely living in such a big house? Chapter 11:01. Huang Ling said, I live with my mom. She's playing cards at a friend's house. Brenda said, Living with your mom, Huang Ling. You must be a very filial daughter. Young people nowadays use their own independent space as an excuse to move out and live alone or with a couple. They just don't want to live with their parents. Huang Ling smiled and said, Probably in the minority. Brenda, I'll cut some fruit for you. Brenda smiled and said, You're too enthusiastic. I'm done applying the medicinal wine. I have to go home. Huang Ling asked, Are you going home to cook for your husband or children? Brenda shook her head. I only have one son. He's not in M-City, and neither is my husband. I live alone. Then stay here and sit for a while. Brenda, eat some fruit first. I'll cook a few dishes. You can stay at my house for dinner before you go back. You know how to cook. Brenda's eyes flashed with surprise. Huang Ling said modestly, Just a few home-cooked dishes. My cooking skills are average. It would be great if my son married a wife like you. Warm, kind, filial, and can cook. Huang Ling looked at Brenda for a few seconds and smiled. You'll be able to in a while. I think you're a lucky person. Your son and daughter-in-law will be filial to you. Brenda shook her head and sighed. No, my son likes a married woman. Huang Ling, who had just entered the kitchen, couldn't help but turn to look at Brenda. She frowned slightly and said, As long as they love each other, it's fine. Brenda looked at Huang Ling and said, You don't know. My son's conditions are good. He can have any woman he wants. But he just has to like a divorcee. When I see that he likes a divorcee, I get angry. Huang Ling went into the kitchen and scooped out a bowl of soup that Lu Fengfeng had made for Brenda. Bone soup. It's just right for your ankle, ah. Brenda looked at the soup in the bowl and her eyes lit up. For me. Alright, try it. Huang Ling sat down beside Brenda and looked at her with a smile. Brenda took a sip and praised, It's delicious. The heat is sufficient, the ingredients are sufficient, the soup is clear, the taste is delicious, and it's delicious. Brenda looked at Huang Ling with admiration. You can make soup again. Not bad, Huang Ling smiled brightly. This soup was made by my mother, not me. I'm sure you can endure it too. Yes, but not as good as my mother's. As soon as she finished the soup, Lu Fengfeng opened the door and came in. Seeing an unfamiliar woman in the house, Lu Fengfeng looked at Huang Ling in surprise. After Huang Ling explained to her, Lu Fengfeng welcomed Brenda warmly. Sister, I'm going to cook. You can stay at our house and eat. Try my cooking. After Lu Fengfeng entered the kitchen, Brenda smiled at Huang Ling and said, Your mother is very enthusiastic. She looks like a very sincere woman. Huang Ling nodded. Yes, that's what the neighbors say about her. Why don't I see your father? Huang Ling smiled awkwardly. My father passed away a long time ago. Oh, I'm sorry. It's fine. The more I look at you, the more I like you. If you didn't have a boyfriend, I would really let my son marry you. Bugada's gaze had been fixed on Huang Ling. That gaze was sizing her up and picky. Huang Ling smiled and didn't say much. Do you love your boyfriend? Brenda asked again. Chapter 1102. Huang Ling nodded and smiled at Brenda. Yes, I love you very much. Brenda's eyes lit up. She was especially interested in this topic. How much do you love him? When Huang Ling heard this, she suddenly thought of the time they were injured at the ranch. Maupassant was seriously injured in order to save her, and she still had slight scars on her face in order to save him. Huang Ling thought for a moment and smiled happily. I love him so much that I can lose my life for him. So touched. Brenda's eyes flashed with admiration. She noticed that there were slight scars on both sides of Huang Ling's face. They weren't obvious and couldn't be seen with makeup. However, Huang Ling didn't like makeup, so she could still see them if she looked carefully. Brenda asked, Child, how did you get the wound on your face? When Huang Ling heard this, she subconsciously raised her hand and gently touched the wound on her face. Girls all like to be beautiful. Their figures couldn't be good, and clothes could cover up a lot of shortcomings. There could be scars on the body, and clothes could block everything. However, the face was different. There were some scars that could be seen no matter how thick the makeup was. Huang Ling smiled embarrassedly. I was cut by glass and didn't deal with it in time. How could you be so careless and let the glass cut your face? Brenda asked. Huang Ling winked mischievously at Brenda and kept her in suspense. I'm not telling you. This is my secret. Your boyfriend doesn't mind the wound on your face? Brenda asked curiously. Huang Ling smiled. I don't mind. Soon, Lu Fengfeng finished cooking and called them in to eat. Because she didn't know that there were guests, Lu Fengfeng bought simple groceries in the morning. However, Brenda felt that every dish was delicious. Especially the soup. She finished a bowl and wanted more. Just as she was about to get up to scoop it, Huang Ling rushed to scoop it for her. After scooping a bowl, Huang Ling handed it to Brenda with both hands. When she reached out, her sleeves were pulled up slightly. Brenda looked at her hands and realized that there were a few shallow scars on the back of her hands. She raised her eyebrows and looked at Huang Ling with an unclear gaze. Huang Ling smiled at her and returned to her seat. Brenda asked, Huang Ling, which company do you work for? Huang Ling smiled and said, the Gu Clan Group. Brenda was surprised. The Gu Clan Group. I heard that the president of the Gu Clan Group is quite powerful. Is that true? Huang Ling nodded. Yes, it is. Brenda, what position do you hold in the Gu Clan? Huang Ling smiled embarrassedly. Little assistant. What kind of assistant was she? If it wasn't for Song Wuyo, how could she be an assistant? To be able to be an assistant in the Gu Clan Group, you must be amazing. Brenda looked at Huang Ling with a smile. I didn't expect you to be so capable. She's not capable. She has a good relationship with Madam President. Madam President is a senior designer in the Gu Clan, so she went to help Madam President, Lu Fengfeng interrupted. Madam President. Brenda was shocked. The famous Song Wuyo. Yes, that's her, Lu Fengfeng said. Brenda looked at Huang Ling's eyes and was even more delighted. I didn't expect Huang Ling to have such a classy friend. What high and mighty. Worryless is very easygoing. She's not as cold as the people outside make her out to be. She's very kind and very smart. Huang Ling smiled at Brenda. When you see her in person, you'll definitely like her. Brenda shook her head. No, no, no. I think I like you more. You're also very kind. Thank you, Brenda. Huang Ling put the peeled shrimp on Brenda's plate. Brenda, eat the shrimp. Chapter 1103. Looking at the fresh shrimp meat, Brenda said with a smile, "Okay, the shrimp you peeled will definitely be delicious." Huang Ling, on the other hand, said, "The shrimp was very fresh when I bought it. Whether or not it's delicious depends on what kind of water was used to raise it." Brenda said with a smile, "That makes sense, but I don't know what kind of shrimp was raised in what kind of water." Huang Ling smiled. "Neither do I." Brenda ate the shrimp and nodded in praise. "Delicious. Very delicious. Are you new here, madam?" "I've never seen you in the neighborhood before," Lu Fengfeng asked. Brenda nodded. "Yes, I just moved here a few days ago. Call me Brenda." Like Huang Ling, Brenda looked at Lu Fengfeng with a smile. "You look about the same age as me. I'll feel closer if you call me by my name." Lu Fengfeng wasn't reserved. "Okay, Brenda, eat more. We're in the same neighborhood now, so we'll be neighbors in the future. Let's keep in touch when we're free. By the way, who's in your family?" Brenda said, "I live with my dad, but he won't be here until tomorrow. My husband and son aren't in M City." Lu Fengfeng said, "When you're free, bring the old man to my house for dinner." Brenda said, "With neighbors like you, I think it'll be very interesting to live in this neighborhood in the future." Lu Fengfeng said, "That's right. When I first moved here, I wasn't used to it either. After I got to know the neighbors here, life became much more interesting." Brenda asked, "What do you usually do?" Lu Fengfeng said, "Go shopping with the neighbors, play cards, take care of my health, and square dance." Brenda, "What do you usually do?" Brenda said, "Read books, go to the beauty salon, and chat with my son on video." Lu Fengfeng asked, "How old is your son?" Brenda said, "He's 30 years old." Lu Fengfeng asked, "He's married, right? You're going to have a grandson soon, right?" Brenda sighed and said with an exasperated expression, "That brat has never had a girlfriend. We thought he didn't like women. Once you have a girlfriend, it's a divorcee." After that, Brenda glanced at Huang Ling. "This woman isn't very beautiful. She's far from the daughters of my friends." Lu Fengfeng smiled and said, "As long as the child likes the girl, it's fine as long as the girl is healthy. She may not be easy to get along with and her personality may not be good, but she will definitely treat her mother-in-law well." Brenda nodded and smiled. "That's true." Lu Fengfeng continued, "A second marriage is nothing. Some women will cherish and love their other half even more after their first marriage. My Huang Ling is also divorced. Now that she has found a man who loves her, I am really happy for her." When Brenda heard this, she pretended to look at Huang Ling in surprise. "Huang Ling, you're married." Huang Ling is not embarrassed. "Anyway, Maupassant treats her well. He said that his mother also likes her very much. She does not worry about anything." She smiled calmly and nodded. "Yes." Brenda smiled and said, "I really couldn't tell. You're so young. By the way, are the scars on your face and hands caused by domestic violence?" Domestic violence? Huang Ling was stunned. She looked at Brenda in amusement and said, "No, no. It's not caused by domestic violence." Magoo had never hit her. Her injuries were not considered domestic violence. She didn't get them from domestic violence. They were from saving Maupassant, said Lu Fengfeng. Chapter 1104. Brenda looked at Huang Ling in surprise. "Maupassant is your boyfriend?" Huang Ling nodded. "Yes." Why was she so surprised? At that moment, Huang Ling thought that the foreign woman in front of her was Maupassant's mother. But thinking about it, it was impossible. Maupassant had said that his mother was very beautiful, gentle, elegant, and noble. The woman in front of her was also very elegant and noble, but from her tone, she didn't sound like a gentle woman. Moreover, her makeup was a little thick, so she couldn't tell if she was really beautiful. More importantly, Maupassant was in L country, and so was his family. Why did they suddenly move here? The injuries on your hands and face were actually from saving your boyfriend. I'm sure your boyfriend loves you very much, right? Huang Ling suddenly realized that this woman was surprised that she had saved her boyfriend. Huang Ling smiled and was about to speak when Lu Fengfeng beat her to it. Not only are there injuries on her face and hands, but she's almost all over. Lu Fengfeng didn't know where her injuries came from. She, Song Wuyo, Maupassant, and Gu Yanhao all kept their mouths shut, and Lu Fengfeng didn't dare to ask in detail. However, when she found out that Huang Ling was covered in injuries from saving Maupassant, her heart ached. She even owed Huang Ling a few times to leave Maupassant, feeling that Maupassant was a dangerous person, but Huang Ling didn't listen. This silly girl, after leaving Migu, was now facing a dangerous person like Maupassant. She didn't know what to say. In the end, she was touched by Huang Ling and Maupassant's words. Maupassant said to her, "Auntie, don't worry. I'll try my best to protect Huang Ling. If she loses her life because of me, I won't let her be alone. I'll accompany her." Huang Ling said to her, "Mom, I want to be with Maupassant in this life. If I can't, I might as well die." The two of them loved each other so much that they wanted to die. No matter how much she disagreed, it was useless. Sigh, as long as they were happy together, it was fine. They didn't care about injuries or death, so what was the use of her caring? Injuries all over his body. Brenda was curious. How did he get injured? She got injured from rolling on the glass, Lu Fengfeng said. Huang Ling ate silently. Lu Fengfeng had said everything, so she had nothing to say. When she heard that the injury was caused by rolling glass, Brenda thought of this scene. Maupassant was on a mission and encountered danger in the building. Huang Ling, who was present, was shocked and pounced on Maupassant without caring about her own safety. She used her body to block the glass shards that flew over from the explosion for Maupassant. Then, she rolled a few times on the spot, causing many injuries on her body. There were really few women like this. Brenda looked at Huang Ling with a much gentler gaze with a hint of relief. She also felt that the more she looked at the wounds on Huang Ling's face, the more beautiful they looked, like two butterflies. Huang Ling, your boyfriend is so lucky. Brenda reached out and gently patted the back of Huang Ling's hand. Are you saying that my boyfriend is very lucky to have a girlfriend like me? Huang Ling looked at Brenda and smiled. Brenda nodded. Yes, I like you so much when I'm with you. I think he must be very happy to have you. I'm even happier to have him. He's a great man. Huang Ling smiled sweetly, her eyes revealing a hint of happiness. In what way? Brenda's eyes lit up. Chapter 1105. In every aspect. Huang Ling's answer was very official. But she was telling the truth. In her heart, Maupassant was a great man in every aspect. How's his bed skills? Is it great? Brenda asked a very shocking question. When Huang Ling heard this, her cheeks suddenly turned red. The food in her mouth was almost swallowed into her throat in shock and then got stuck. Lu Fengfeng also opened her eyes and looked at Brenda in shock. It was as if she had just seen Brenda clearly. Lu Fengfeng felt that this woman was very beautiful. She was wearing heavy makeup. If she didn't wear heavy makeup, she would look even better. Moreover, her temperament and clothes were quite classy. At a glance, such a classy woman wasn't the kind of person who sat together all day and gossiped with a group of women. But her words seemed very bold, as if it wasn't the first time she had asked such a question. People said that the bolder a woman was in this aspect, the more honest she was and the purer her heart. Because such a person wouldn't think that sex was dirty, nor would they treat sex as a kind of greed. Instead, they would treat it in a very righteous way. So, with such a person, you don't have to worry that he will betray you. Lu Fengfeng looked at Brenda carefully. In her eyes, she saw a kind of enviable woman's happiness. It was the kind of happiness that made her feel at ease when her family was happy and her husband and son were both promising. Which woman of their age wouldn't be envious and yearn for this kind of happiness? Ah. Huang Ling, is your boyfriend good in bed? Seeing that Huang Ling didn't say anything, Brenda asked again. Brenda, how can I answer this question? Huang Ling's face turned even redder. How can you be embarrassed? Let me tell you, I've been there. You're young and don't understand. If it really can't work out, then break up. Don't regret it in the future. It's not good to divorce. If it's great, you'll definitely nod and say it's great. If you don't nod, others will think that it's not good. No, Brenda, we haven't developed to that stage yet. Huang Ling said shyly. They're so in love, but they haven't reached that stage yet. Brenda frowned. How could this Maupassant hold back? He had stayed in M City for quite a long time. Why was he so obedient? Huang Ling's cheeks were rosy as she picked up some food for Brenda and smiled. Brenda, try this and see how it tastes. All right. Brenda smiled and said, I know you're changing the topic. Huang Ling's lips twitched. Brenda, can you not expose me? Brenda took a bite and looked at Lu Fengfeng with praise. Delicious. Lu Fengfeng was very happy that her cooking skills had been recognized. If you're too lazy to cook in the future, you can come to my house to eat. I like to cook very much. All right. Brenda smiled calmly and generously. Then I won't stand on ceremony. When I see you, I feel like I've known you for a long time. I really like you. After dinner, Huang Ling saw that Brenda was walking with a slight limp. She was worried that Brenda would fall midway, so she offered to send her home. She didn't expect Brenda to agree so readily. She was even very happy. Moreover, she insisted that Huang Ling hold her hand and walk. The suite that Brenda stayed in was exquisitely decorated with a European and American style. It was luxurious, with crystal lights and sofas that had a retro feel. The entire suite, except for the bathroom and washroom, was covered with expensive carpets. Chapter 1106. Brenda, your house is very beautiful. Huang Ling couldn't help but exclaim. Brenda made a cup of rose tea for Huang Ling and said with a smile, we just ate. Let's drink the flower tea. Thank you. Huang Ling sat on the expensive leather sofa. Do you like this style of decoration? Brenda sat down opposite Huang Ling. Between them, there was a coffee table full of high-quality crystal. It was transparent, but very beautiful. Brenda looked at Huang Ling with eyes full of love and laughter. Huang Ling raised her head and looked around Brenda's house. She smiled and said, I like it. The sofa you made was specially ordered from Germany. It's comfortable to sit and lie down. Custom made. Isn't that very expensive? Huang Ling asked. Brenda nodded. Yes, my son said that he wants to give his girlfriend the best. Huang Ling smiled and said, your son should love your daughter-in-law very much. That kid, he's about to forget his mother when he has a girlfriend. Huang Ling smiled. It seems. Many men are like this. However, Brenda, don't worry. There's a time limit. When you just start dating, you'll definitely think of your girlfriend for everything. It'll be different when you get married. Who knows? He bought a house for his girlfriend before he even got married. Brenda took a sip of tea gracefully. Huang Ling asked with a smile, "Is this your son's new house for his girlfriend?" Brenda nodded. "Yes, they're going to live here when they get married." "You don't live here." Brenda pursed her lips. "I don't know if my daughter-in-law likes me or if she's willing to live with me. As you know, many young girls nowadays ask their husbands to move out and don't like to live with their in-laws." "Huang Ling, if you get married, are you willing to live with your in-laws?" "Why not?" Huang Ling felt that this question was very funny. Hearing this, Brenda's beautiful eyes flashed with surprise. "Are you willing to live with your in-laws after you get married?" Huang Ling nodded. "Yes." "Aren't you afraid of quarreling with my wife?" "I'm not afraid." Brenda asked, "Why?" Huang Ling chuckled. "I think I'm stronger than my mother-in-law. If we quarrel, I should win every time." "Have you met your future mother-in-law?" "No, but my boyfriend said that his mommy is a very gentle, beautiful, elegant, and sensible woman. I don't think you can beat me in an argument." When Brenda heard this, her heart felt as sweet as honey. Her son actually praised her in front of her future daughter-in-law. He really gave her too much face. Not necessarily. Some gentle women have a good mouth. They don't use dirty words when they curse, Brenda said. Huang Ling took a sip of tea. "I'm not afraid. I believe my boyfriend will help me." "Oh." Brenda was even more intrigued. "You're a henpecked man." "No, he dotes on me. He said no one is allowed to bully me." Thinking of Maupassant, Huang Ling couldn't help but feel a trace of sweetness on her face. "Oh." Brenda pretended to understand and nodded. Maupassant, that brat, was so caring. She really wanted to see how he would react if she bullied Huang Ling. Huang Ling accidentally saw a trophy next to the TV. She asked, "Brenda, is that trophy yours? Did she get it from dancing or painting when she was young?" Brenda followed Huang Ling's gaze and looked at the trophy. She smiled and said, "No, that's my son's." Chapter 1107. What does your son do? He even got a trophy. Don't tell me he's an athlete. Huang Ling asked. No, this is the trophy he got in a speech competition when he was in school. This was the first time in his life that he had won a trophy. I cherish this trophy very much. Wherever I go, this trophy will follow me. He's not an athlete. He's a soldier, Brenda said gently as she looked at the trophy. Looking at her expression and listening to her words, Huang Ling felt that her son was very important to Brenda. Huang Ling looked at Brenda. I can feel that you love your son very much. Brenda nodded. That's right. My son is one of the 3 men I love the most in my life. You'll definitely ask me who the other 2 men are. Let me tell you, it's my father and my husband. Huang Ling blinked and smiled. Even if you don't say it, I can guess that one is my father and the other is my husband. How smart. By the way, Huang Ling, what does your boyfriend do? Huang Ling smiled. He's also a soldier. Brenda was pleasantly surprised. What a coincidence. Which unit does he work in? See if you know my son. Huang Ling smiled. He's not in K country, and I don't know which unit he's in. When we're together, other than telling me the interesting things that happen in his unit, he won't talk to me about anything else. I know that some of them are confidential and can't be talked about. Brenda thought for a moment and nodded. That's true. By the way, Huang Ling, wait a moment. With that, Brenda got up and walked to the wine cabinet to take out 2 bottles of wine. Huang Ling looked at Brenda in confusion and thought, is she going to drink with me? This wine is to nourish the body. It's very suitable for a girl your age. You can drink it if you have dysmenorrhea or a cold stomach. Drink half a cup at night before you go to bed. Don't drink it in one gulp. Drink it slowly. After drinking it, lie in bed and sleep. I guarantee that you will sleep all the way until dawn. This wine is specially sent over by my father. Take it back and drink it. Brenda put the 2 bottles of wine into a very beautiful bag and brought it over to Huang Ling. The bags and bottles were all in English. Huang Ling could not understand them. However, judging from the packaging of the wine bottle, it should be a very expensive wine. After hearing what Brenda said, Huang Ling felt that it was a very good wine. Huang Ling was too embarrassed to accept such a good wine. Brenda, I'm too embarrassed to accept such expensive wine. Besides, there are only 2 bottles. If you give them all to me, I won't dare to accept them. There were only 2 bottles of wine on the wine cabinet. The other shelves were not filled with wine, but with some decorations. Don't be shy. Even if you don't take it, I'm giving it to my neighbor. Give it to your neighbor. Didn't he keep it for himself? That's right. Send them to our neighbors and get to know each other better. Don't tell me you've given away a lot of them before. Can't I? You can, you can. Huang Ling felt that Brenda was very enthusiastic. That's right. Take it back. Don't look at it as wine. Drink half a cup every night as I said. Not only will it nourish your body, but it will also make you look good. I don't drink much. Huang Ling still wanted to refuse. That's why I asked you to drink half a cup every night. Don't drink too much. You'll get drunk. When I was young, I often had dysmenorrhea. It was so torturous that I couldn't sleep in the middle of the night. After my father knew about it, he gave me this wine and asked me to drink half a cup every night. A month later, the dysmenorrhea was gone and the acne on my face was gone. Chapter 1108. Is it that effective? Huang Ling widened her clear, dark eyes. Actually, she had menstrual cramps, which girl didn't like to be beautiful? Brenda smiled and kept her in suspense. You'll know if it's that effective after drinking it for a month. Thank you, Brenda. Huang Ling was embarrassed. What are you thanking me for? I feel like an old friend to you at first sight. I don't have much to give you, so I'll just give you 2 bottles of wine. After Huang Ling left Brenda's apartment, Brenda immediately called Maupassant, who was far away in L country. Mo Bosun had just arrived home, and he was still wearing his military uniform. In his military uniform, he looked extremely handsome, dashing, and elegant. He knew what was going on when he saw Brenda's call. He crossed his slender legs and sat on the sofa. He curled his lips and asked with a faint smile, "Beautiful Mommy Brenda, have you met your future daughter-in-law? I had dinner at her house tonight." Brenda put on a mask and chatted with Maupassant through her Bluetooth headset. After putting on the mask, Brenda lay on the chaise lounge and flipped through a magazine. Maupassant raised his eyebrows. You've become familiar with her so quickly. She even went to her house for dinner. She even came to your house for a while. Maupassant's eyes flickered. Does she like that kind of renovation style? Brenda lied to him. No, she said it's not luxurious enough. Not luxurious enough. Mommy, ask her another day what kind of luxurious style she likes. You can get a master to renovate it. I'm lying to you. She doesn't care much about the renovation of your house. I can see her true thoughts in her eyes. She doesn't care if the house is luxurious or not. Maupassant lay on the sofa lazily, the smile in his eyes deepening. I knew it. I gave those 2 bottles of wine to her. Sen, Mommy doesn't want to scold you, but why didn't you tell me that she had bruises on her face? I'll get your grandpa to send her some spot removal ointment. I like the bruises on her face. She left them for you, right? Maupassant raised his thin lips. Yes. Is she the first woman to leave a scar for you? Mommy, do you think there are other women who have been hurt because of me? Maupassant asked, amused. How would I know? I'm not you. Mommy, how is it? Do you like her now that you've seen her in person? I don't like it. Brenda emphasized these 3 words. Maupassant's heart skipped a beat when he heard that. He exerted a little force with his elbow and looked like he was about to get up. You don't like it? Maupassant felt that there was something wrong with his ears. He heard something that he didn't want to hear. Brenda pulled a long face. Yes, I don't, and I don't like her mother. Maupassant's chest started to feel stuffy, as if a stone was slowly enlarging. At the start, it was still fine. But as the stone grew bigger and bigger, it began to feel uncomfortable. He asked indifferently, why don't you like them? They were not difficult people. Sen, Huang Ling also has injuries on the back of her hand. I heard that she has injuries all over her body. Brenda said. Mommy, do you dislike her appearance? You're so handsome, so tall, so good in figure, and so good in conditions. Can't you find a better one? Maupassant's handsome face darkened. To me, she's the best. But her looks are not outstanding. She has a good personality. I like it. Her looks are not outstanding, and the children she gave birth to are not very cute. Chapter 1109. Adele and her husband aren't good-looking, and their son is ugly, but that little guy is very cute. Don't you want to hug him every time you see him? If my grandchildren are so ugly, I won't love them. Is Huang Ling that bad? Maupassant smiled. To me, she's really average, Brenda said sullenly. Mommy, do you know how she got the injuries on her body? Maupassant asked. Brenda raised her eyebrows. Was her son going to play the emotional card? I don't know. I asked her, but she didn't tell me. Magoo found out that I blew up the weapons that Magoo sent to Country L. Magoo caught me, severely injured me, and tied me to a tree. In front of her, there were glass shards all over the sky. Magoo said that if she could walk barefoot to me through the glass shards and untie the rope on my body, she could take me away. Walking barefoot on a 30-meter-long glass shard, Mommy, can you do it? Brenda was stunned when she heard that. Glass shards, walking barefoot. Just that image alone was enough to make people tremble in fear. She was barefoot and could only walk in the smooth and clean house. Walking on the slightly sandy road made her feet sore. If she stepped on the glass shards, it would take her life. The soles of her feet were injured. Because she couldn't support her body, she fell, but she didn't give up. She crawled to me. Mommy, not only did she have a few scars on the back of her hands and face, but even her thighs and body were injured, but I didn't mind. If I minded her injuries, I would be a fucking beast. Ah. Sen, so touching. Brenda's eyes turned red just thinking about that scene. You brat, why didn't you tell me that you found out about this? Is it useful? Who said it's useless? I can care about her. Didn't you say that you don't like her? Didn't you dislike her even more when you saw that she hadn't recovered yet? Actually, Mommy was joking with you. I like her very much. Are you serious? Could it be that his opinion of her had changed after hearing about the origin of her scars? She doesn't have outstanding looks. When the time comes, the grandson she gives birth to for you might not be handsome, cute, or cute. It doesn't matter if the grandson is not cute, as long as the granddaughter is cute. Humph. Since you don't like it, I won't have a son or a daughter. Even if I do, I won't let you raise them. Sen, why are you so heartless? Huang Ling is right. You really spoil her. If we quarrel, you will definitely help her and not me. Maupassant chuckled. Is that what she told you? Yes, and she even said that she wasn't afraid of living with her in-laws after marriage. That girl, she likes crowds. She even said that eating alone doesn't taste good, but eating around a table makes everything taste good. Just the salted vegetables alone are enough to eat 2 bowls of rice. Isn't she afraid of noise? No matter how noisy the living room is, won't it be quiet in your own bedroom? Besides, Mommy, you won't stay in M City, right? Sen, if you love her so much, why don't you kill her? Maupassant raised his eyebrows. Kill her? You haven't slept with her yet, right? Mommy, you have to be gentle. I'm very gentle now, not rude. What you say doesn't match your appearance. He could say such shocking words with a serious expression. Don't change the topic. Answer me, why don't you kill her? Can't you or can't she? Chapter 11:10. Maupassant was speechless and laughed. Mommy, women don't exist. Brenda was worried when she heard that. Is it because my son can't do it? Impossible. You have so much chest hair, sexy leg hair, and 6-pack abs. 8 packs. You said I'm missing 2 packs. Oh, it's 8 packs. Your abs are sexy too. How can you not do it? Mommy, a certain basketball player looks strong, but all the women he dated wanted to break up with him after sleeping with him. They said he is too young and cannot satisfy them. Brenda was shocked when she heard that. She almost jumped up from the sofa. Sen, you really can't do it. Mommy, there's no such thing. I'm great. If you don't believe me, you can ask Huang Ling in the future. Since that's the case, you have stayed in M City for so long and have not slept with her. Is it because she is unwilling? She is very willing. She can't wait to pounce on me and eat me up. Why don't you let her eat you up? You little rascal, are you still young? You are already 30 years old. In another 2 years, all the children outside will be calling you uncle and not brother. If you don't do it when you are young and strong, you will not be able to do it when you are over 50 years old. Sigh. Mommy's heart aches when I think about you. Other men will break their virginity at 18 or 20 years old. When they are 30 years old, they will have eaten meat for many years. You are still a virgin and have not eaten meat when you are 30 years old. I don't care. The next time you come to M City, bring Huang Ling to your new house and force yourself on her. Mommy, don't force yourself on her. It's vulgar. Even if I force myself on her, she should be the one forcing herself on me. Your son's beauty can make her fall head over heels for me. I don't care if you force yourself on her or she forces herself on you. I want results. She has menstrual cramps, and you still have the heart to let her suffer every month. If it were me, I would use my body to treat her menstrual cramps. The more Brenda said, the more she felt her son was a failure. He was still a virgin and did not deserve her sympathy. Humph. Mommy, when you, Grandpa, and Daddy meet her and agree, you'll get what you want soon. I don't want her to feel burdened, Maupassant said. His deep and magnetic voice sounded even better than the sound of a violin. Sen, it's fine as long as I like Huang Ling. You can be at ease with her. To be honest, Huang Ling was very direct and unrestrained. And her mother, she's a good cook. Her dishes are even better than our chef's, Brenda said. You should do more square dancing with me during this period of time. Mommy doesn't know how to do that. Brenda blinked. Square dance. It sounded very rude. I'll teach you. Sen, don't come to M City so soon. I still need to spend more time with Huang Ling. Maupassant laughed and asked, what? Can't you get along with her? You don't understand. I have a plan. Don't cheat my girl. Don't worry. Even if I cheat her, I'll cheat her into the MO family. That's it. I'm going to do a facial mask. You should call your girl too. Yes, I do have that idea. Maupassant hung up the phone. He took a few photos of himself with his phone and sent them to Huang Ling through WeChat. Huang Ling had already returned home. After washing her hair and taking a shower, she sat on the balcony and tasted the wine Brenda gave her. When she received Mo Bosun's WeChat message, she picked up her phone, snapped a few photos of herself, and sent them out. Chapter 11:11. In the photo, the girl had a bright smile on her face. The light from the balcony shone on her face, making her skin look smooth and her smile bright and sweet. He thought that Huang Ling was a perfect woman. Why was it that in his mommy's eyes, she was just an ordinary woman? If Huang Ling were to dress up and put on makeup, she would attract a lot of attention. Because Huang Ling had taken a shower and was preparing to sleep, she took a few photos. She was wearing a V-neck nightgown. Under the high angle of the phone, her cleavage was obvious. Maupassant sent a voice message. Brother Ling, cleavage is bound to be hot. Huang Ling didn't realize what was going on at first. After thinking for a while, she looked back at her photo and saw her low cleavage. Huang Ling sent an arrogant emoji and then a voice message. What's this bit of cleavage? I don't wear bra. If I wear bra, it'll squeeze a little and my cleavage will be deeper. Maupassant, wear it and take a photo for me to see. Huang Ling, dream on. If you want to see, come to M City. Maupassant, are you inviting me? Huang Ling, Momo, I miss you. Maupassant, what do you mean miss you? Why don't I miss you? Huang Ling, get lost. I don't want to talk to you. Maupassant, what happened today? Tell me about it. Huang Ling, what do you mean by interesting? If there's nothing interesting, I won't talk about it. Maupassant, my mommy wants to see you. Huang Ling, come to M City if you want to see her. Huang Ling raised her head and touched her face. She was a little worried. She didn't know if his mommy would dislike the scar on her face when she saw her. Although she couldn't tell, but Huang Ling was still nervous. Being despised by her mother-in-law, her days were definitely not as happy as those who were doted on by her mother-in-law. Maupassant, let me tell you a piece of good news. I've already applied to join Gu Yanhao. Huang Ling, join. What do you mean? Maupassant said, I don't have the power to rebel. Li Zhongjin is the president and he has a lot of power. I don't want to stay in L country anymore. I want to run over there and be in the same city as you. Huang Ling asked, what do you mean by transfer? Maupassant, it's not a transfer, it's a transfer of troops to the local government. Huang Ling asked, are your subordinates here too? Maupassant, of course. Huang Ling said, what do you mean you don't want to stay in country L? You're from country L to begin with. Maupassant, my whole family is registered in France. Huang Ling said, oh, it'll be easier for you to come to K country if that's the case. Maupassant asked, do you welcome me there? Huang Ling said, shouldn't you be asking Gu Yanhao about this? Maupassant said, he's secretly happy to have a talent like me there. Why wouldn't he welcome me? Huang Ling said, why do I feel like you came to K country for me? Maupassant said, you're too slow to react. You're hopeless. Huang Ling said, Momo, I did a good deed today. Maupassant asked, what good deed? Maupassant asked the obvious. Huang Ling said, I saved a foreign woman. She's very easy to talk to. Look at my photo. The wine I drank was given by her. Maupassant asked, she gave you wine. Aren't you afraid that the wine is poisoned and that it's a conspiracy? Huang Ling said, don't worry. She looks like a good person. She won't harm me. Maupassant asked, what do you think of her? Huang Ling said, very good. She's very classy. She loves her son very much. When we talk, she can't stop talking about him. Chapter 11-12. Maupassant said, yes. At this age, women put all their thoughts on their children. Their hearts are filled with familial love, not love. Huang Ling, she loves her husband too. But when she talks about her son, her eyes sparkle with pride. Maupassant smiled. Of course, with such a capable son, it was only natural. Huang Ling, but she said that she doesn't want her son to have a divorced girlfriend. Momo, if your mommy knows that I'm divorced too, will she not agree to us being together? Maupassant, silly girl, don't you remember? Didn't I tell you that my mommy doesn't care about this? Huang Ling, I'm just afraid that although she says that she doesn't care, she cares a lot. Maupassant, you just have an extra divorce certificate. The hymen is real. Huang Ling, you're such a hooligan. Maupassant, don't drink too much. Half a glass will do. If you get drunk, I'm afraid that you'll mess around. Huang Ling, don't worry. Even if I mess around after drinking, I won't pounce on you. Maupassant, I'm worried because she won't pounce on me. Huang Ling, Momo, I didn't know that you were so handsome in a military uniform. Maupassant, I'm even more handsome when I'm not wearing it. Huang Ling, you're always talking about dirty things. I don't want to talk to you. I want to look at the moon and count the stars. Huang Ling came downstairs after breakfast and bumped into Brenda. Huang Ling was wearing the Gu Clan group's uniform. She looked slim, and had a tight waist. Huang Ling. Brenda was surprised to see her. Brenda, you're here so early. Are you going to look for us? Huang Ling asked. You're going to work? Yes. Huang Ling nodded. I made French breakfast and was about to send it over. Have you eaten French breakfast before? No, I haven't. Take it. Huang Ling took it. Thank you, Brenda. Brenda, you're so nice. Brenda smiled. It's nice to meet you. Brenda, I just ate the breakfast my mom made. I'm not hungry now. Can I bring it to the company and eat with my good friend Wuyo? Huang Ling asked. Of course, I'm very happy to have another person to share my breakfast with. Then I'm going to work. If you feel bored, you can go upstairs and chat with my mother. No, I'll go back and catch up on my sleep. I have to go to the airport to pick up my father at noon. All right, goodbye, Brenda. Huang Ling waved. Huang Ling, how about we have dinner together tonight? Huang Ling asked subconsciously, your home or mine? Brenda smiled and said, I'll call you before you get off work. Last night, they had exchanged phone numbers. Okay. Huang Ling went to work happily. She spent the whole morning reading design drafts and learning about design. Halfway through, she was hungry and shared the breakfast Brenda made with Song Wuyo. Breakfast was sushi, thick egg yaki, sandwiches, and 2 portions of crepes. Originally, it was for her and Lu Fengfeng. Now, Huang Ling and Song Wuyo each had a portion. It tasted very good and they ate happily. Because of the large portions, Huang Ling didn't feel hungry even when it was lunchtime. She took a nap in the office for a while. After she rested enough, she saw that the weather outside was good. She walked out of the company and casually walked around the company as a form of exercise. The Gu Clan building was in a very good location. There was a park nearby. Huang Ling walked towards the park. Ouch! Chapter 11-13. Ouch! At the entrance of the park, an old man fell down. It seemed that the fall was not light. He fell on his butt and rolled down 3 steps. After he stopped, the old man held his left leg and cried out, "Ouch, ouch." Because it was lunch break, many people who went to work used this time to meet their lovers in the park or walk slowly and exercise with their colleagues like Huang Ling. Therefore, not long after the old man fell, many people gathered around to watch. Huang Ling only saw the old man's outfit and appearance when she got closer. He was an old man with white hair and wore a set of dark blue Zhongshan-style clothes. The surface of the clothes was a little dirty, and the quality of the clothes was made of coarse cloth and thick thread. Next to the old man, there was a gunny sack filled with bottles and cans. Because he fell, a lot of them spilled out. The old man's shoes were a pair of very dirty white shoes that were stained with a lot of oil. He was a garbage collector. That was the first impression that the old man gave off when he was dressed like a grandpa. Moreover, the bottles and cans in the gunny sack next to him confirmed his identity. Because he was dirty, the people who gathered around just took a look. Some of them only took a few glances and then did what they were supposed to do. No one came forward to help him. Ouch! It hurts. The old man spoke in K-Nation's language that was not very fluent. Huang Ling lowered her head slightly and saw more clearly that the old man was a foreigner with white hair. Huang Ling, let's go. An employee of the Gu clan happened to be watching the show. When she saw Huang Ling standing there, she called out to Huang Ling. When the old man heard someone call out to Huang Ling, he raised his head and glanced at the girl in front of him. Huang Ling said to the employee, "You go. I'll walk around nearby and then go back." The employee came forward and stood beside Huang Ling. She glanced at the old man. "Don't tell me you want to save him. Huang Ling, don't be nosy. Be careful not to be tricked." Huang Ling was confused. Tricked? The employee said, "Yes. Didn't you see the news? Now, many old people are taking advantage of the kindness of young people to deliberately fall, crash, faint, and so on. Whoever saves him will be unlucky. He will bite back and insist that the person who saved him compensate. Those are all weirdos. I think this old man really fell. Look at his feet. The skin is broken," Huang Ling said as she walked forward. The employee quickly pulled her. "Huang Ling, are you really going to save him?" Huang Ling turned around and looked at her colleague. "I'll go and help him. He doesn't look like a bad person to me." The employee found it funny. Which bad guy would have the words "I'm a bad guy" written on his face? Huang Ling looked around and found that some people were looking at her with disdain. She pursed her lips and said to her colleague, "You go first. Don't worry about me." "All right, then I'm leaving." The employee didn't want to be tricked. She didn't know how to help an old man. Moreover, it was a dirty old man who picked up garbage. Huang Ling walked forward and squatted down in front of the old man. She smiled at the old man and asked, "Old man, can you get up? Do you want me to help you?" The old man looked at Huang Ling and sighed. Sigh, they don't even dare to come forward. Why are you so bold? My mother gave birth to me. Huang Ling smiled. I really need you to help me up, the old man said. Chapter 11-14. Okay, come. Be careful. Huang Ling helped the old man up and even helped him to a chair at the side to sit down. Sit down first. I'll be back soon. Huang Ling glanced at the bleeding wound on the old man's ankle and said. Okay. The old man nodded. Huang Ling quickly ran to a small supermarket nearby. The old man looked at Huang Ling's back and shook his head. He muttered, the child's heart is kind, but her body is not strong enough. In a few minutes, Huang Ling ran back. Her body did not look very strong. When she came back, she was already panting. In her hand was a bottle of water, a small packet of tissue, and a band-aid. Old man, let me treat your wound first, okay? Huang Ling squatted down in front of the old man and looked up at him. The light emitted from her eyes was incomparably pure. The old man nodded. Okay. Thank you, child. Huang Ling smiled. You're welcome. After cleaning the wound and putting on a band-aid, Huang Ling went over and helped the old man pick up the bottles and jars that had been poured out and put them into a gunny sack. Then, she dragged the gunny sack over the old man and asked, Grandpa, do you have your phone with you? Do you want to go home by yourself or wait for your family to pick you up? I have a son and a daughter. The old man said. Huang Ling looked at the old man with a faint smile. Just now, she was only focused on treating his wound and did not look at him carefully. Now that she looked at him, Huang Ling felt that although the old man's clothes were dirty, his eyes were so sharp. It was a pair of wise eyes without any vicissitudes of life. Do you want your son or daughter to pick you up? Huang Ling's tone sounded like she was coaxing a child. My son is not in M-City. My daughter is married. Grandpa, you're not from K-Country, right? My daughter came here. I followed her here. Oh, then let your daughter pick you up. She's not at home. Could it be that he was a lonely old man who lived alone? Is there a garbage recycling station nearby? The old man asked. Huang Ling was stunned. I didn't pay attention. There shouldn't be any nearby. I still want to sell these bottles for money and use them to eat, the old grandpa said pitifully. Grandpa, don't tell me you don't have money on you. Huang Ling asked in surprise. The old man shook his head. I didn't. I'm here to pick up trash. Why would I bring money? You have to bring it no matter how much it costs. If you're hungry, you can buy something to eat. Is this your first time here? If you pick up trash often, you should know where the recycling bins are. This is my first time here. The grandpa was quite satisfied with Huang Ling's reaction. How about this, I'll give you money to eat, okay? Huang Ling smiled. She might have really gotten herself into trouble. People said that some old people were very stubborn. They would insist on doing what they liked, just like a 3-year-old child. The old man looked around. But there's no recycling station nearby. How am I going to sell my bottles? Do you want me to carry these bottles into the restaurant to eat? When Huang Ling heard that, she frowned slightly. Grandpa, what you mean is, help me carry the bags to the restaurant to eat. After the meal, give me the money to the recycling station. After selling it, I'll take a taxi home, the old man said. Grandpa, I have to go to work later. I don't have time to eat with you. Huang Ling really felt that she had gotten into trouble. But if she didn't get into trouble, who would? Chapter 11-15. You don't respect the elderly. I'm already injured and you still want me to carry all these bottles around. It's already noon and I haven't eaten yet. Don't you feel sorry for me? You don't have any sympathy at all. The old man stomped his feet and said angrily. No, old man, you can't take advantage of your seniority. Huang Ling held her forehead. What do you mean by taking advantage of my seniority? Am I taking advantage of my seniority? Can't you be a good person to the end and help me to the end? Huang Ling's eyes twitched. What a stubborn old man. Earlier on, she thought that he was easy to talk to. Why was he getting more and more stubborn? Huang Ling pursed her lips and said obnoxiously, Grandpa, actually, I'm not a good person and you're not a Buddha either. What did you say? The moment the old man heard that, he raised his voice and glared at Huang Ling. What did you say? Huang Ling had not expected that her words would cause such a huge reaction from the old man. Huang Ling was truly helpless. Poor her, she did not know how to coax the old man. She nodded and raised her small face with a trace of resistance. Grandpa, what I said just now, didn't you hear it very clearly? Otherwise, you wouldn't have such a huge reaction. You wretched lass, do you know who I am? The old man pointed at Huang Ling's nose and said loudly, wait till you know who I am. You'll regret your attitude towards me. Huang Ling raised her brows and asked in confusion, my attitude towards you was really good. I treated your wounds and even gave you money to eat. You're the one who purposely made things difficult for me. I'm your grandfather. The old man glared. Are you scared? Grandfather. Huang Ling looked at the old man in surprise. He was clearly a foreigner with a fair complexion and white hair. She could not tell which country he was from, but he was definitely not her grandfather. Huang Ling could not help but chuckle. Grandpa, my grandfather died when my mother was still underage. When the old man heard this, he was furious. He suddenly stood up and sternly said, take the bag and help me to the dining room to eat. No, Grandpa, I have to go to work later. The old man tilted his head and looked at Huang Ling sternly. Ask for leave. Huang Ling almost fainted. She put her hands on her hips and imitated the old man's stare. Grandpa, can you not be so stubborn? You're deliberately making things difficult for me. I'd better call the police and let them serve you. After Huang Ling finished speaking, she was about to take out her phone to call the police. As soon as the old man saw it, he immediately reached out to stop her and forcefully grabbed Huang Ling's mobile phone. Don't report it. Even though he had fallen just now, the strength of his words and his stern expression gave off a very valiant feeling. He didn't look like an old man who picked up trash at all. He had a majesty that made people admire him. Especially the 3 words no reporting, it was powerful and resonant, causing people to not dare to disobey. It was as though he was giving orders to his soldiers. Huang Ling was stunned and looked at the old man in front of her in a daze. Holy shit, he even snatched her phone. He was even looking through her phone. The old man was actually looking through Huang Ling's call records. She had not dialed 110 just now. The most recent call was with Maupassant. When she was eating snacks, they talked on the phone. She told him that she was eating the French breakfast that Brenda made for her. She saved Maupassant as brother Mo. When the old man saw this most recent contact, his turbid eyes flashed with a smile that Huang Ling could not detect. You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.